Hi, this is Bob Akdashi and welcome to the What's New in the HCM 7th Editions series. So in this video, we are going to talk about what are the high-level updates to the Highway Capacity Manual and why it has been accepted as a widely accepted reference material in the transportation and traffic engineering. So material that we have prepared for this series starts with giving an overview, and then we are going to dive into 4 topics that we have as the main additions to the 2022 7th edition of Highway Capacity Manual. That includes capacity effects of connected and automated vehicles, new 2-lane highways method, new pedestrian methodology that we have for signalized and unsignalized intersections, as well as mid-block crossings, as well as a brand new network analysis. And why it has been accepted widely in our profession. So HCM is a widely used reference material in traffic and transportation engineering. And a couple reasons behind why it has been accepted this widely is that because first, content that goes into HCM are coming from high-level national level projects such as NCHRP's National Cooperative Highway Research Program or other funding sources. And basically the way that it works is that, for example, at NCHRP is that these projects basically, there's a project panel that oversees, the progress of the projects. There's a pretty tough competition for, from researchers to get these projects. So basically, that's very qualified research team get the chance to work on these methodologies that eventually is going to basically go into the Highway Capacity Manual. And then they're going to be overseen by this project, NCHRP panel. And then once that's done, basically the deliverables are going to be handed into TRB's Highway Capacity and Quality of Service Committee. That basically this committee oversees material in the Highway Capacity Manual. And they basically discuss it as a second round, and basically they vote for that in order to be adopted into the manual. So there are these multiple layers of peer review that goes into these national level research products, and that's why the quality of content that goes into HCM is very high, and that's sort of basically as the main reason that contributes to the fact that it has been widely accepted for past 7 years as a reference material. So HCM 7th edition has 4 volumes. Volume 1, 2, and 3 can be purchased as a hard copy, paper copy, as well as PDF and ebook. And volume 4 is online only, basically online and electronic only, and it's freely accessible. So if you go to hcmvolume4.org website, you can create an account and freely access to the material that exists in the applications guide, basic volume 4 of HCM. So let's take a look into the history of Highway Capacity Manual. As I said, it's about 70 years or so that this reference document exists. The first edition got published in 1950s, and then followed by 1965, 85, 2000, 2010, 2016 as basically the major releases for this manual. The 7th edition, as you can see, got published in year 2022. It's branded as 7th edition of HCM. So a lot of times, people, they get confused that, okay, so which year, this different version of manual are corresponded to. Let's make sure that we all understand that 6th edition got published in year 2016 and 7th edition got published in year 2022. Both 6th and 7th editions are called a guide for multimodal analysis to emphasize the fact that HCM is not all about cars and vehicles. There are other modes of transportation that this manual has methods in order to evaluate their operational characteristics and how well what the quality of service for those modes of transportations are. On the bottom side, I'm showing the HCS releases, Highway Capacity Software releases, and basically the way that they correspond for different versions of the manual. I know that a lot of people are using a software such as HCS for analysis of highway capacity manuals, methods. It's important for us to understand, that we are using the correct version of the HCS that corresponds with methodologies that we are intending to utilize from the manual. So I have a big hint for you here. HCS 7 is for HCM, basically uses methods in HCM 6 in year 2016. So let's not mix HCM 7 with HCS 7. If you want to use the latest methods in the highway capacity manual, you need to go with the version 8 series of highway capacity software, branded as by year, basically, HCS 2022 and 2023 and so forth. So here on this slide, I'm showing basically a snapshot of what's new in the highway capacity manual. In the 7th edition, over 350 pages of this manual have been changed. So it's a significant change in the content with respect to the 6th edition of the manual. There are 5 big research projects that have contributed these changes to this manual. Of course, other than these 5 projects that I'm listing on this slide, there are some errata and corrections that have been identified since 2016, and they have been updated in the 2022 release as well. So let's take a quick look and see what are those new material that we want to cover in this series. First one is we have as I said, a revised method for pedestrian analysis within HCM that basically extends into the signalized intersection, unsignalized intersection, as well as mid-block crossing. This new pedestrian methodology basically extends the capability of the previous method to account for additional treatments that we can have, for example, for crosswalks at two-way stop control intersection and so on. Through Federal Highway Administration's pool fund, a project basically funded by FHWA generated capacity impacts for connected and automated vehicles. Basically, this is, to best of my knowledge, as the HCM is the first reference material that has solid numbers in terms of what are going to be the capacity gains of having connected autonomous vehicle in our traffic stream. That includes basically freeways, roundabout, as well as signalized intersection. We're going to talk in detail about what those methodologies are. Another big piece of change is that we have, through an NCHRP 17-65, we have a brand new methodology for the analysis of two-lane highways. So chapter 15 of HCM that houses this material basically has been entirely changed, and this methodology is more sophisticated compared to previous method, and it has more sensitivity to a speed estimation in horizontal curve subsegments, as well as it goes away from that whole designation of classifications of two-lane highways we had in HCM 6, which at the times it became controversial as well. So we have a new methodology on active traffic and demand management on arterials that allows us to do analysis in the form of reliability analysis, like a whole year analysis on different strategies that we can have on arterials, such as reversible center lanes or dynamic lane grouping. Last, we have through NCHRP 1557, we have a brand new method called network method. That is basically right now housed in chapter 38 of the HCM, that basically has a method that enables us to analyze a corridor that consists of arterials, urban streets, as well as freeway. So with that said, I want to conclude here and basically move on to discuss the details of all these new material in the HCM.